At 32 minutes past 11, the final train to ever leave Great Victoria Street station in Belfast will depart for Bangor. A new transport hub known as Grand Central Station is being built in the city nearby, and it's going to replace Great Victoria Street, which has been ferrying passengers for almost 200 years.
The Europa bus station will stay open, as will other stations such as Botanic and Lanyon Place. But this final departure at Great Victoria Street later marks the end of the line. Robert Gardiner, chairman of the Downpatrick and County Down Railway. Robert, you've come into the studio, thank you. Just how significant would you view this closure as tonight?
It's very significant because, as you said, there's been rail activity on the site for about 200 years, but it's also very bittersweet because Great Victoria Street station is quite funny because it's the station that's closing twice. It closed originally in 1976. It was a great big Victorian station built to take trains from Belfast to Lisburn and on to Portadown and Armagh. It was closed in favour of Central Station, now Lanyon, in 1976, and they realised they'd made a huge mistake and reopened it in 1995. But it was the first railway in Northern Ireland, and still is, that has ever been reopened from complete closure and abandonment. So it really represented a sea change in attitude to rail in Northern Ireland. People do think the rail service here could be better, but you really have to remember how bad the NIR network actually was in the 90s to see how far we've come on. And the current Great Victoria Street station reopening in 1995 really was the start of that process. And indeed, the development of the Grand Central Station really gives Belfast back a major terminus that it hasn't had since the original Great Victoria Street station closed in the 1970s.
And given how long Great Victoria Street has been operating, given some of the history that you've outlined there, I mean, will some of that history, do you imagine, will be preserved?
We're hoping so. In certain ways, though, this is a very modern 1990s building, but we have asked TransLink from a museum perspective if it's possible to recover a few things like station signs and platform signage and things like that. So that sort of thing isn't lost. Although
They said yes?
They've been sort of positive. It hasn't happened as yet, but we're still waiting the answer from that.
Well, sure, when with the pliers tonight, it's all over, isn't it?
Believe it or not, that has actually happened in the past when stations have closed.
Are you going to be on the last train tonight?
I certainly hope so. TransLink invited us, a couple of us, down tonight, so barring being able to get a ticket, because it's going to be quite busy, I can imagine, because it's not often that a major station like this closes.
Can I ask you, why do you love trains?
Why do people love football, for instance? It's just
yeah.
that it's just sort of been a passion of mine since I was a kid.
But what is it about them that really kind of floats your boat? Mix
and transport there, yeah.
Well, I don't really know. Either it gets you or it doesn't really.
What's your favourite bit of a train?
A bit of a train? Well, mine is the carriages, because I am passionate about woodwork and carriage work, things like that. Locomotives, this is probably sacrilege to so many railway enthusiasts. I'm not that interested in them. It's the things that you travel in. That's what the public know. That's how you experience rail travel. Whenever I'm working at Downpatrick, a volunteer there, it's the carriages that I have the passion for, and recreating those details that have been lost.
Fascinating. I never get tired of listening to somebody who is fascinated by something. No matter what that is, you can kind of sense your interest and your energy. Robert, have a great night tonight. I hope you catch that final train leaving Great Victoria Street station. But that's Robert Gardiner. He's chairman of the Downpatrick and County Down Railway.